Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. I'm going to talk today a little bit about the issues with the segregation units, especially round about Christmas time, because people who are in the segregation units are usually subjected to, well, they certainly were when I was there, what I would call the silent regime. Yeah, that's the staff didn't speak to you. And as you were unlocked in the seg units one at a time, you weren't speaking to other inmates either. So you slowly became kind of withdrawn. I can't imagine going days and days and days without speaking to people, but that's what they did. And the strange thing was, the staff who were regular staff on the seg, or like they called it in Strangeways, the block, didn't even speak to me. Oh, they're very silent, you know. Only occasionally give you directions, you know. No conversations. And the inmates, well, they gradually deteriorated. You would deteriorate, yeah. And it was a system that had been in place in the prisons since Edwardian times, or perhaps late Victorian times. The silent system. It seemed to cause inmates to deteriorate, and that's what the staff seemed to think was a good idea, you know. Didn't personally. On the block, the segregation unit at Wormwood Scrubs, which if you look at Wormwood Scrubs, A wing was the first wing. As you're going up Duquesne Road, you look on the left, the first wing was A wing, and the segregation unit was right at the back of A wing. And on there was Ian Brady. He was in the top cell on the second floor, and he used to sit behind his door just staring at the spiral. Wouldn't speak to staff anyway. Not that you want to speak to him, would you? Yeah, but that's what he would do. And he didn't speak to staff. Spoke to governors, spoke to the senior staff, you know, the chief officers and all, but he wouldn't speak to basic grade screws like me. Considered it beneath him. He was a pseudo-intellectual shithouse who should have been terminated, I think. If there's ever an argument for termination, it's him. But basically, that's what he would do, stare at his spiral in the door, and then you go around at night and all of a sudden, bang, he's in bed, fast asleep. Or ostensibly fast asleep. There used to be like a pale red light in his room because he was on suicide watch, permanently on suicide watch. Number of interesting characters in the segregation unit at Wormwood Scrubs, one of which was Commander Drury. Commander Drury had been the head of the vice squad for Scotland Yard, and he'd been taking money from the so-called King of Soho, Bernie Silver, and Bernie Silver had been bunging him. I mean, it was stupid, really, what he did. He was going on holiday to Bernie Silver's holiday homes in the Spanish islands and all that, Tenerife or whatever it was going, and there's pictures of Commander Drury with Bernie Silver, and everybody knew who Bernie Silver was. And unfortunately for me, I did meet Bernie Silver. He was in the final stages of syphilitic dementia, and he was being held on the hospital ward at HMP Wormwood Scrubs. And I was on the hospital ward one night as the officer in charge of the hospital ward at night, yeah, and I sat in a chair there and inadvertently went to sleep. It would be about 2 o'clock in the morning when I woke up, and sitting on my knee was Bernie Silver. He had one arm round my neck, and he was reaching out to try and stick his tongue down my throat. Kiss me, kiss me, kiss me. Oh my God. I tell you, that's the last time I ever fell asleep in a hospital ward at night. Never again. Hey, I don't know what it was about me. I'm not exactly Rudolph Valentino, you know. But I was the Cambridge rapist attempted to have a go at me. Wanted to kiss me. He ended up kissing the cell door. Yeah. They had a strange practice at Wormwood Scrubs. The staff used to write the nature of the crime onto the hard-boiled eggs of the inmates, so that when they came down for breakfast in the morning, they had to pick up the egg that matched their crime. For Ian Brady, it was child killer. For Commander Drury, it was bent copper, so on and so forth. Yeah. There was one interesting character that I met on the segregation unit. He had no name. It wasn't Clint Eastwood, by the way. He just had a cell card, turned round, back to front, no name on it. And he was in there, and he must have been a highly dangerous terrorist, because I was required to be handcuffed to him. Then they had another member of staff, plus a dog handler with his dog, yeah? And they would unlock him, and I'd take him to the shower unit or the bathroom, whichever it was, And that was odd. I took him to the toilet tower and he pissed. I think he deliberately did it. Pissed all over my boot. I think he thought it was quite amusing, actually. I know he has got a proper name, but he was known as the Jackal. The Jackal. He was French. And he was not particularly big, not tall anyway. He was about 5'7", something like that, but extremely broad and big, powerful shoulders. Ooh, tough guy, I took him, kept him on the end of the handcuffs while he had a shower. He wasn't amused by that, I tell you. But what could we do? Couldn't allow that man to run riot, could we? He had not to escape. And the block at Strangeways, you hear all these stories about from idiots like Dominic, rapist Noonan. He liked raping 15-year-old boys, by the way. Dominic Noonan got 15 years for that. He'll still be in. When he comes out, somebody's going to have a word with him, I'm sure, because he'll be an old man then, won't he? But the idiots like Dominic Noonan say, I'm too tough for Strangeways. Listen, I've been in the segregation units of the toughest prisons in Britain, and I ain't never seen nobody win except the segregation unit staff. Never. There was one big bastard down there called George Wilkinson. Please have a look on Google at George Wilkinson. He was enormous. He's probably about nearly the size of Tyson Fury, about 6'7", something like that. And he was really enormous. And he tried throwing his weight around at Strangeways and ended up on the block. And George Wilkinson died in the block at HMP Walton, I believe it was. He might have been Birmingham. But anyway, the same day that he got transferred from Strangeways, he was dead within 24 hours. You see, he went on hunger strike. Wouldn't eat any food, wouldn't eat water, and he was basically, he couldn't handle it, you see, the fact that he'd been tattled. Well, he was properly tattled by the school bully and the black dog. They had a word with him. And as I say, it don't matter. I never saw nobody win except the block. Anyway, it's coming New Year's time, yeah. I was on the block at Wormwood Scrubs, and it was New Year's Eve. It was the New Year's Eve of 1976, so it was the 31st of December 1975, and I was on the night patrol on the block, and it got to be about a minute to midnight. Then all the bells started ringing and everything's going off. And all the inmates, seriously, inmates in the block at Wormwood Scrubs banging on the doors, shouting, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! You go around the block, and there it was on the cell cards, lifetime 6. And they're banging on the doors, Happy New Year. I thought, well, I know where you'll be in the new year, in the block. What kind of a Happy New Year you have in there? Anyway, it's coming up to the new year. I believe there should be an amnesty for King Charles's coronation. We'll see. amnesty for all inmates serving 3 months or less. Let's get people out of the jails. Only people who have to be in the jail should be there, not people serving time for non-payment of fines or stupid rates and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous, folks, isn't it? Anyway, I've had a request for a song. I'm going to emasculate this bastard for you. It's no good me saying I'm going to sing. Right, Larry's out the room now, yeah. Anyway, Paula, have a wonderful new year. It's about to come, yeah, a new year. And all the people who have made contributions to supporting this site, there's a little connection down below. It says buy John a coffee or buy me a coffee. That helps in some way or other. Helps me. And I invest it, usually in Jack Daniels, by the way. What I do. Seriously. And what else? Oh yeah, my book. Don't forget to buy my book. That helps too, and get the name out there. And give me some good reviews on Amazon. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, that's all right. Anyway, put some comments down below. I like them. Insult me if you will. Larry does it all the time. We're going to have a song now. Somebody's requested me sing a Beatles song, Let It Be. I'm not going to sing it. I'm going to destroy it. Oh, I don't know if I'll destroy it. I'll make an effort to try and make it as reasonable as I can. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you, Paula? Right. When I find myself in time of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Yes, there will be an answer, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on till tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Well, I think I did that one a little bit of injustice. Thank you very much for watching Tales from the Jails.